stream, starting the recording. We're going to do the actual podcast in a few minutes, but this is sort of the start of the stream. Hello, everyone. This is episode 415 of the OotiniCast being recorded on... 415 of the OotiniCast being recorded there we go. Put that on mute. On June the 15th, 2021. And we're going to get going here with the actual podcast in just a minute. Let me tweet this out. All right. Okay. 415. It's taking a little longer because I'm putting extra information. TV/. All right. Okay, I just tweeted it. Cool. So we're gonna get going here in just a sec. So everyone has their Audacity rolling.
Rolling.
Okay. Jolia?
Dog is rolling.
All right. Can you you sound a little quiet on the quiet side now. Is it possible you could tweak it up just a little bit? I know that we were worried about the bleeding issue too, but I don't hear any bleeding, at least on my end, so hopefully it's not going on the track either.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm on push to talk on Discord, so hopefully it'll match on here.
Yeah, it will. And Audacity makes it pretty easy too, because that way all the tracks are separate, and if there's any way I can clean up one track, then then it kind of takes care of the issue too.
Cool.
But we do also record at the same time using OBS. That is sort of our backup audio for one thing for the podcast. We've occasionally had to use it, and then also this lets us take the live stream and put it out as the YouTube raw video version. So hey, Fee's up on chat already. Hey, Fee. All right, so if you guys are ready, I think I'm almost ready.
I'm ready.
Let's roll.
Okay. Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that has removed its inhibitor chip. This is episode 415, being recorded on Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty.
Hi, Chill.
Hey, and we got 2 guests today. We've got returning guest Dekion, our guild leader. How you doing, Dek?
Hey, guys.
And we have a new guest, first-time guest, Jolia from Diversity Fleet, also from the SWTOR Coalition for a Healthy Community. Jolia, how you doing?
Hi, guys. Pretty good.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit more about what you do in SWTOR and also the SWTOR Coalition for a Healthy Community.
Yeah, so as you said, I'm the Guildmaster of Diversity Fleet.
Mm-hmm.
In the game, my home server is Satil Shan, but the guild is cross-server, so I kind of pop up all over the place here and there.
Nice.
I also run the Guildmaster Hotspot, which is also cross-server and a community just for Guildmasters and co-Guildmasters. And then most recently, I've been working with the newly launched SWTOR Coalition, which is a really great group of people from across the game. It's essentially a community hub that serves for people looking for groups or guilds and kind of facilitates productive conversations across the game with guildmasters, members, newbies, everybody in between.
Nice. So what are some of the goals of the coalition?
The first thing that we really wanted to kind of target is something where we would have a group of guilds that shared a pretty strict zero tolerance policy against toxicity and harassment, regardless of where people are coming from. We kind of wanted to have a place that could serve also as a better option for people looking for a group that had more of a community spirit, and I think less of a, forgive the term, but a toxic pug in-game or allies or fleet chat sort of looking for group mentality. And it seemed that in a lot of ways the game was starting to be most loudly represented by the more toxic elements, and we didn't think that that's a great way to position new or returning players, I mean, not to mention the rest of the player base. And then, honestly, for some time, a bunch of the guild masters on Shan and Starforge, at least, have been wanting to set up some fun cross-server, or at least within the same server, kind of themed weeks for content that doesn't end up getting run usually because it needs
Ah,
cross-guild coordination. I'm thinking of things like group ranked PvP, sometimes hard to even find people to group with, or
right.
the Avon bosses, the stuff where even if you have the largest guilds in the game, it still is something where you need outside help and coordination. And so it kind of fulfills this purpose too for this kind of collaboration without guilds or players really having to do anything special other than being respectful of one another. And we have it organized so that anyone who does really any content, whether it's PvE or PvP or even RP, can take part. And yeah, we're loving what we're seeing so far.
That makes a lot of
Nice.
sense. Like, yeah, because you're like if you're looking for PvPers, it can be hard to sort of like because you're going to end up trying different people, and if you're just randomly pugging, and a lot of that could be negative, and it would be excellent to just sort of have a group of people who have sort of adhered to a general standard.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone is welcome whether or not they're in a guild that has agreed to be part of the coalition. So if somebody's guild isn't part, but they themselves want to adhere to our guidelines and our standards of conduct, then literally anybody is welcome in the server. So
That's
it's really
nice.
fun kind of seeing. Yeah, it's fun seeing a bunch of the different ally groups and kind of people coming out who are in various circles of the game. From, as I say, it's really fun to see some of the RPers, especially because I haven't had as many contact opportunities with them, and it's so cool to see things like swoop racing RP and Kazakh tournaments and stuff like that coming
Right.
together. So
That's
it's really
fantastic.
exciting.
That is cool. And so, if someone wants to either join a guild that will be part of the coalition, or maybe they are a guild leader, then that would like to join the coalition, where would they go? How would they do that?
So it's SWTORCoalition.com, nothing fancy. There's an application link for guild masters who would like to have their guilds added. The application process is really simple. It's just a little Google form, and it's 100% democratic, so all of the uh, guilds that are already admitted all vote together on who to admit. Uh, Basically everybody gets a vote, or every guild kind of family gets a vote. And then if you're interested in joining as a member and you don't have a guild, or you'd like to add an alt to a member guild, then we actually have a guild matchmaking within the server as well. So we all kind of trade off among the GMs on each server, going through
Hmm.
and kind of seeing, oh, who would be a good fit for which guild, and we all try to share the newbies in a fair
That's
way.
awesome. You
That
get
is
to
very
cut
cool.
through a lot of the BS that way. That's
Yeah,
great.
and I mean, it works really nice with the SWTORista Guild Finder as well, because so many guilds don't have websites anymore, and we can still have like a really nice directory with all the links to those things, and kind of go back and forth. So that's really cool too, and people can see a lot of what they want to know about the guild from the guild finder directory. And then if they're a coalition guild too, they can get to know some of the members or officers and event leads. And yeah, it's been fun seeing people, and the more the merrier. So we'd love to see more new players and random, happy, fun pugs joining as well.
Yeah. And how long has the coalition been around now? Because I think it's pretty
Uh,
recent, right?
yeah, we officially launched on June the 2nd, and so I guess we're coming up on just about 2 weeks.
Nice. And I did see Utini Knights and Utini Rage on the list.
Yes, indeed. We are very happy to have Utini as some of our founding members as well.
That's excellent. And so, Dekion, so how did you hear about the coalition? Who approached whom, and how did you get involved?
I'm part of the part of Jolia's GM hotspot, and she reached out and said, "Hey, want to check this out and see what we can do?" And I said, "Yeah, definitely," because toxic players, they suck. So we're just gonna
Yeah.
try to stomp them out.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I being very hands off, despite being the co-host of the podcast, I have never really been, I've never really considered myself even one of the true like leaders of the guild. That's always been you. It's been Fee. Before that, it was Tio, and but I've always appreciated the fact that we had a guild that sort of attracted a very laid back fan base of people who like the show, but who also tend to be, pretty much on the same end of things that we are, which is sort of like a little casual, but very open, non-toxic, and all that sort of thing. But it's been great that that you've been able to sort of handle things over the years. Have there been any people that you've had to kick out really from the guilds for toxicity, or has it been kind of a rare event?
Chill, not one time have I had to ban or kick anyone from either guild.
Excellent. Well, that's good to hear.
That's awesome.
I don't think it's anything too magical. I think it just happens to be sort of like, good people attracting good people, essentially, like mellow people attracting mellow people, that sort of thing. Because, on the OotiniCast, we're not, we don't scream about, losing once in PvP or anything like that. That's just not what we do. So we don't tend to attract that kind of people to the guild. So that makes sense. But if you had, I would totally have understood that too. So, and I'm so hands off that I probably would not have heard about it without asking you like this.
And honestly, that brings up a really good point too of setting the standard and kind of being the change or being the sort of person you want to see in the game, where that's really a linchpin of the coalition too, is it's not so much about, I don't know, ferreting out toxicity and shaming it or something like that, but really promoting the kind of positive shared gameplay and just treating others nicely, whether it's a Nim Raider or a baby newbie who hasn't even finished making their first character yet. Just having that same level of respect and welcomingness and answering questions and all that kind of thing, and having that sort of model of behavior, I think, is important, especially when, as I say, the negative voices often tend to be the loudest, even if they're nowhere near the most numerous.
Yeah, and I think we've been very lucky in that score as well for the Utini guilds, because Dek and Fee have done a great job, and there's also some other leaders of the guild. We have Cass and Duck and like everyone. There's so many people actually who have taken various leads to do various different things, and they've all been great. They've all been great.
Yeah, so. When I took over the guild from Tio, I made sure that the guild leadership, they weren't kids. Mm-hmm. Most of our guild are older anyway, so I think that helps with a lot of the drama.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
setting those expectations are just gonna, like I said, just cut through any of that BS. And if that's their thing, they're gonna go somewhere else.
Right.
Because it doesn't exist, at least from what I've seen in Utini.
No, it doesn't. We practically drama free, honestly.
Yeah.
TM, practically drama free.
Yeah. That way you get to play the game instead of dealing with all the other crap.
Right.
And that's what brought us all together in the first place. So.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jolia, so what do you like to do in game? What sort of player are you?
I'm mostly PvE.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, we started long ago as an RP guild, and Diversity Fleet as an organization still has text-based role-playing, and here and there we have D&D and other tabletop online style games too. So
fun.
I can't exactly say that I'm an RPer in the game, but we actually have a SWTOR setting text RPG, so I'm sort of on that periphery. I raid mostly on Satil Shan, and I also play the game of Guildmaster Paperwork, which I'm sure Dekion also plays that game a lot. It's our favorite content when it really comes down to it, roster prog.
Right. There has to be a title for guild leaders like cat herder or something like that. You
I've
guys
always
deserve
wanted
it.
that. Nexu herder.
Yeah,
Nexu herder.
exactly.
Excellent. All right. And Dekion, so speaking of the guild, I would have really loved to have gone to the last Jar Jar Joyride because it sounded like such a fun little idea. So tell us what that one was about, and the one before it as well, if you like, as well as what else is going on in the game for you.
Yeah, I'll start with the one before. We're pretty much concentrating on the weekly POs, so we can get our points for Galactic Seasons. So the week before we did Scum and Villainy, easy run through. And then last week, just to kind of shake things up, I did an all-sork run of EV. Which,
right.
Basically, we just needed 8 DPS to run through, I think.
Pretty much, I guess. Yeah, if it's EV, I suppose. Did you in fact have like a shadow tank or a sork or a healer? Sork healer? Or not shadow tank, but you know what I mean. Assassin
everybody
tank.
was in their role, so we had a shadow tank and a assassin tank and a sork for a healer. And then afterwards, we just we swapped characters because those all made conquest during EV.
Sure.
And then we just did a quick to Burrow's Courtyard.
Nice. So you took down the poodle too.
Oh, it was rough.
Was it?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, well, it could happen. Like if you have a bunch of new people or something running
So
around.
you guys
only had
call
7.
it a poodle.
Yes, it's the poodle. And I did learn that if you are...
Oh, you can call it the llama too if you like.
DPSing, and you hear the alarm for the beam, you can RP walk back up the stairs and make it in time.
I'm glad you learned that for us. That was a great community service, and
Very important.
It was.
I think we'll have to require that whenever we run it in the future.
That's a great idea.
Excellent. All right. And is anything else going on in the game for you, Dek?
Not really. Getting ready. I'm kind of liquidating assets right now to get ready for the nightlife event in a week or so.
Nice. Yeah, that is coming up. Yeah.
Yes.
That is cool. All right. And Jolia, how about you? Like, what do you? Is there anything that you're doing like right now in the game that you're excited to talk about or anything like that?
Yeah, I too am liquidating assets in anticipation of nightlife, and I'm noticing that every cartel market item on the GTN has gone down about 75% in price because apparently Dekion and I are not the only people doing this. So notice for everyone, if you're looking for, maybe not platinum stuff, but looking for gold mounts or something, now is the time to buy because everyone is desperate to get 50 credits for buying their tokens. So that's me personally, is
nice.
Sitting on the GTN, wasting time. And as far as the guild goes,
sitting on the GTN. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, there's another title, GTN Overlord or something like that I think a lot of people need.
Yeah.
But we're running some fun events, both for Coalition and for the Galactic Seasons as well. We've been trying to put together a couple of the easy story mode operations each week, but it's one of those things where often raid teams or people who are on a lot of raid teams don't always want to go back in and run story mode stuff, so it ends up often being the last half of a raid team where they finish something or they decide to stop prog and let's go run an EV. But we haven't had any all SWTOR runs yet, so I have to steal that idea.
Yeah.
And beyond that, we've got a couple of rotating weekly events that we're running. One is basically Nightmare Shenanigans, where we take people who are maybe not necessarily not Nim Raiders, but we have people who are not usual Nim Raiders and go in and prog some bosses. And I jokingly say that it's clears not included, so the only thing we can't do in that team is actually clear the boss, because that would break the name. And then the other thing we're doing is we're running rotating with that. We have a group that has you can play anything you want as long as it's not your main. So
okay.
if you're usually a tank, you've got a DPS or heal, and vice versa.
Ooh.
So kind of fun
Nice.
stuff.
I like
Yeah.
that idea.
It's really not a exactly. It's not a bad idea. I mean, I remember from when I was doing like regular raiding, and you do kind of want to swap it up sometimes, and so having an sort of an outlet for it so that you're not tempted to do it on like your main character and try to demand that your raid group or your operation group actually switch things around for you is probably a good thing. All right.
There's a lot of people who I think get typecast as one role, so it gives them a chance to break out.
Right. And you find out that, oh my God, our tank can actually like top DPS. Something like that, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, this person actually can do this too.
Well, also playing a different class for a little while makes you better at your main, especially when you're running, operations or something like that, because you get to learn how a tank works, or you get to kind of see how healing goes. Not that I'd know how to heal, because I don't, but I definitely feel like playing tank back in the day helped me be a better DPS.
Yeah, for sure. And same as a tank main. When I try to heal, and like you, I also do not know how to heal, and I pity whoever has me healing, though. But it still kind of gives a bit more of insight into, oh, okay, if I want to do this, whatever DCD, I should communicate this with my healer, because now I actually have the slightest idea of what Kolto probe is actually doing for me.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, to add to that, being a mainly DPS for the last several years, standing just across the boss, I've been able to pick up, where I need to be, what I need to do as the tank, and I think it's made me a better tank because of being a DPS. So if anyone out there is worried about swapping roles or something, jumping from DPS to tank is actually very easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Kitty, how about you? What have you been up to?
I just finished the last character in my body type for Big Boy series.
That's been going on a while.
For a long time.
Yeah. What was the last one? What was the final class?
The last one was a Sith Marauder Twi'lek.
Nice.
And he was evil all the way. I killed everyone that I could every time I could kill someone. And when I was making it, I'm like, just so everyone knows, I'm going to kill Crazy Jaisa. And so when it got to the time to kill Jaisa, I pushed the wrong button and she made it out alive.
No.
Oh, no.
And it was pretty funny because chat's like, she got out of it, because I think there were a couple people in chat that didn't want her to die, but I was like, oh, she's got to die, because in my head canon, that character actually was in love with her and was like, okay, I'm gonna do the Malgus thing where I kill her so that I don't have that weakness.
Right.
And
I
of
was
course,
just thinking of
that's
that.
very
Malgus.
Yep.
I'm like, oh crap. But one of my favorite things about Crazy Jaisa is, I don't know, evidently some people don't know that she sends you emails.
Yeah.
And you have to read the emails.
Please do, yes.
She has some crazy ass dialogue, but her emails give you kind of an insight of what's going on in her head.
Yeah.
And it's really funny.
Yeah.
It's greght. So
yeah, Dark Jace is wild.
Oh yeah, she's insane. We call her Crazy Jaisa.
Crazy Jaisa, I love it.
Next time you're playing Jaisa Darkside, make sure to scan your emails to find them.
Don't just pick up the gifts and dump them. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta read them.
Gotta read them. They're
really funny.
Yeah, the ones I think you are talking about are like right after you finish the class story, because that's usually when some of those start rolling in, especially from whoever your romantic partner is, if you had one, if you chose one.
She's like, she's bugging you to see if you're cheating on her and other awesome stuff. And then when she realizes that you're not cheating on, she's like, damn it, I really wanted to murder some woman that you were trying to get with. Just like, oh my God. And then I've been streaming a lot, which is fun.
Yes.
And I got to go to Jar Jar Joyride
Mm-hmm.
last Friday with the Sork, and it was fun.
Nice.
Lots of lightning everywhere.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Lots of lightning. It was
Yeah.
great.
Was
It
pretty.
Frame
fun.
rate at 0.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're like we're practically all of the DPSers spec lightning and not madness.
It might have been a little bit more of the lightning Sorks.
But some madness.
Because
I'm kind of impressed because I think lightning is really popular.
yeah, well, because I was spec lightning thrower,
Okay.
I just kind of checked for everyone that was throwing lightning and going, yay!
Yeah, we didn't have many assassins, I don't think.
Yeah, I think just
the tank?
and maybe someone else.
Yeah, me and
But
the
yeah.
tank.
It was really fun. I love it. We've done that before in Jar Jar, and the last time we did it was several years ago. I actually leveled up a character just to go and do it. So we'll do actually Dekion's done it before where we just doing a merc run, and everybody
that's
comes as
fun.
a merc. That's fun.
Right. 'Cause
Yeah.
you can do it as bounty hunter because you have all three classes, all three
Right.
all three types, and you can do it with the Inquisitor, and that's can't do it with the others unless you
No?
want to
Not on the
try it
upside
in
on the-
tankless.
No?
Which
On the plus side, we've done Commando too.
yeah, you might be
that's
able to
right,
get
yeah,
away
we
with.
did
You
keep
might be able to get away with a no tank one potentially if you did like agent or something. But
Yeah.
on story mode, maybe. Boy, it'd be tough though. It would
Be a
still be very
challenge.
tough. Yeah, it'd be fun to try
Field
actually.
check.
Yeah, it would definitely
That's
be a
right,
health check
right.
for sure.
Everybody, yeah, get
Yeah, you might have to have like a
pots
second
ready.
healer or an extra healer or whatever, third healer even. and like the interesting thing would be like if like the quote unquote tank then drops aggro and the boss turns towards someone else, the heals have to like all switch really fast
Oh,
too.
yeah.
That could be fun to try, but I imagine it'd be rough.
It would be
Challenge accepted.
challenging.
Bum bum bum.
My knee is slowly getting better.
Okay.
The doctor said it was going to be like 6 to 8 weeks, and this is week
Oof.
5, I think.
Okay.
But it's slowly getting better.
Right.
I'm hoping next week I can actually ride my bicycle like a normal biped
Okay.
instead of just cranking with the one leg.
Mm-hmm. Are you still
Yeah.
like icing it up and stuff like that, or does it?
I haven't really been icing it or anything. I just wear a brace and I try to keep it straight. And...
So the swelling's gotten a lot better.
Oh yeah, the swelling has been down for a while,
Good.
and the pain isn't bad.
Okay.
Except after like 3 or 4 hours at work, it starts to hurt a little bit. But what are you
Right.
gonna do?
So they're pretty sure that nothing like tore. It was just a
Well,
twist or whatever.
Yeah, we gotta wait and see, and then I'm gonna get some pictures done of it, and then we have to go from there. But because I guess when the meniscus heals, it scars, which is good,
Oh, okay.
and we'll see what happens. I've been babying it so much. I've been trying to take care of it so much that I haven't really given it a test yet.
Okay.
And I figure I'm going to wait at least 6 weeks to let it do its thing. And then I'm going to all right, I'll walk upstairs like a normal person and see like how it works. But it
Yeah, let it
sucks.
heal first.
Hmm.
Yeah. Which is different than what I normally do. I go into it like a caveman. I'm like,
Push through
if it's hurt,
pain.
I'll just push through and it'll be stronger.
Yes.
No
But
pain, no gain.
That's right.
Yeah, but I turned 50 just a couple weeks ago, and spoiler alert, young ones, your body heals different when you're older.
Yeah.
But it's getting better, so that's all I can ask for.
Excellent.
And then I'll join the. I don't know. I was gonna say something funny about running a marathon, but I don't want to run a marathon. Anyway,
Forget
but
it.
that's about it.
All right.
That's it for me.
Excellent. All right, let's do a little shout to the chat room here. Who's showing today? 24 Fan Lover, Altal, Cheryl Mercury, Darth Dirty Socks, Dex here, Fox Snipey and Fees here, Intisar Nor, Kyo X23, Lodvar, Meltza's here, Lord Meltza, Lone Wolf, hey Lone Wolf, Arjar, Sludgestir, Swishy Twitchy, and Tsunami Safari are all here. Hey everyone. All right, so what have I been up to? Did a little bit with Meltza. We haven't had a lot of time together over the last couple of weeks, but it's still been fun. The little bit that we've been able to do. I think we're still in McKeb. It's actually still been interesting also to kind of gear up the old way. So I still have not given him any 306 gear. I think he's somewhere in the 280s ish, somewhere like that. And every time I get over 8,000 tech points, I swap to that character, go to the vendor, try to buy a few more pieces, and it's slow, but it's kind of fun to try. Mostly then I worked on Unarmed Shrek. I actually finished him. You can actually go through the entire storyline without a main hand weapon. Confirmed.
I said it before. I'm gonna say it again. You're nuts.
It took a long time. Some of those last chapters, like, it was feeling really slow towards the end. Especially, I think once I got to like the level 75 fights, because you're not being ranked down in any way, and your gear's not being altered, and there's all those other little changes. It was even just a normal fight against like a normal, like not even a silver, but just a weak or standard. And it was like, multiple globals to take him down. Then you turn around, there's another one, and then there's another one. And it just, so.
You're going to kick butt.
Yeah.
At the bare knuckle brawling on Saturday.
I've definitely, I know my strategies for sure.
So when are you going to join the Jar Jar with Shrek?
We might be able to do that. We've got that coming up. We're going to talk again about it towards the end of the show. So I don't see why he couldn't come along today. Or not today, but for this one. So I think that'd be fun.
Actually, this one might be a good one. We're doing world bosses.
Nice. So also the last few bits that where you're at 75, you're fighting the Emperor, all these other the flashpoints and stuff. The fights are very long, but because there's a lot of like mechanics involved and stuff like that, you can, because and I've done them enough that I know how to work the mechanics. I was it didn't feel very dangerous. It was just very long. Especially like I noticed like a lot of the Emperor stuff, some of the other stuff too. Sometimes your companion quietly gets like plot armor where like they can't die, essentially. Yeah, like they get really low and they just will not die. The game doesn't allow it. It can't happen.
Is that during the 3 Emperor fight?
The 3 Emperor fight is an especially good example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just did that and I tried to die. I was like, all right, I don't know what I'm gonna do, what I'm doing on this fight. I don't know the mechanics, so I'm gonna just try and die. And nobody like all my companions lived. I lived.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Story mode armor,
Yeah.
That's a game pity achievement.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that way. So, but yeah, so he's done. I've got him all the way through the story. It was crazy. Like I said, when I started, I kind of assumed that at some point the game would like scale out of control and then, and you just wouldn't be able to do enough damage with punches, but no, you can do just fine.
To hell with fun. This is for science.
Yeah, that's right. However, I was very, very tired of low damage play, so I started an assassin character. She's Cathar based on Marvel's Tigra character, West Coast Avengers and back in the day and all of that. That's actually where I know her from. I think I was one of like 5 people who subscribed to the West Coast Avengers in like the mid 80s. I don't think anyone cares about that group. But I liked the character back then. It's kind of fun to make one now. She has a cat mount, a cat pet, and I bought a Krakia cat companion, And so
Oh,
all
yeah.
of them growl because the pet growls when you click on it. The Krakia just kind of growls randomly. The mount growls when you mount it on it, and it's the Regal Vorn Tiger. And then the Cathar social one is actually a growl too, because it turns you red and you kind of go. And so yeah, so she's already on to Act 3. So she's leveling very, very fast, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm like disgustingly happy with how fast it is to level, especially a stealth character, because she is an assassin, DPS. So she's just wrecking these. She's just wrecking the story so fast. Like I've only had her like a week or so, and she's like past Hoth. I think, yeah, we passed Belsavis. We're on to Voss next, and it's been like a week, 8 days, something like that. I can't remember exactly when I start, but it's really nice though. Wow. After after punch, it feels great to just go vroom and have a bunch of AoE and just tear through people. Feels really nice. So I'm liking that a lot.
Tsunami Safari has a question. What was the hardest, longest fight on Shrek?
Let me think. The weird thing is, so I was using like the Victor set, so you get a pretty solid heal when you kill something, and then I had Grit Teeth, which gave me a really short cooldown on focus defense. And I think it would have been really a lot harder to do it on like a non-guardian, without that particular like defensive cooldown I was using like constantly. Because of those particular mechanics though, and especially like the Victor set, like the harder fights were one where there's like no ads, because if there's no ads, you're not getting any benefit from your Victor set at all. So some of the harder fights were just like boss fights where the boss like maybe doesn't even hit you very fast, so your Grit Teeth isn't doing much for you. There's no ads. There's just like really hard hitting abilities. I'm trying to remember the exact ones where I had to. There's only a few where I actually had to like reactivate my companion and make them active to get through the fight.
The Valkorian fight?
The Valkorian fight, no, because there's so many other like non-companion companions that they just did everything for me. You know what I mean? Like I said, yeah. So stuff like that wasn't very hard. The hard ones are they're kind of very weird, out of the way ones. Like one of the hard ones was the final fight in Traitor Among the Chiss, where you've sort of caught up with Theron, you shoot at him, or she shoots at him, Risha shoots at him, he gets away, but then the Chiss guy jumps down and fights you. And then in the Hurricanes. That one actually is surprisingly hard. So it was surprisingly hard. Did a lot of damage, like hard to get away from, that sort of thing. Later on, there was a couple of other ones. I'm trying to remember. There was one like during... was it the Mechshaw bit? One of the bosses like was really tough. Trying to remember which one it was though. But yeah, it's like it's really weird. But it felt really weird because like some fights like were not very difficult, and then others are like brutal. And it's like, wow, I'm having a hard time getting through this. And I actually die a couple times, and that sort of thing. Oh yeah, it was one of the fights was on the Mandalorian Flashpoint. It's the one, I guess it's the one right at the end. There are some ads, but they hit really hard.
Yeah, they hit really hard.
They hit really hard, and the boss goes away, and you have to take care of all of them, and they're fairly sturdy too. They're not like weak ads where you can just knock them down really fast. Yeah, that fight was really rough. That was one where I had to activate my companion for sure. And that was probably the last of like the really hard fights. And like I said, the final Flashpoint that had like a lot of plot armor in it. Like it was that one was not difficult. It was slow, but it was not difficult at all. It was interesting to see it again though, because I've only done that like once or twice, so it was kind of fun to see it again actually.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, the final fight in the Mandalorian Flashpoint there, that was rough. That was really, really rough. Yeah, so... All right, let's see. So I think that's enough of our week. Let's go to the tip of the week. I just have a couple quick notes here. This is my tip. It's just on unarmed combat. Might as well sort of wrap up the whole Shrek thing with at least something I learned from it. First of all, you have to have no main hand weapon. I mean, I know that like when we're doing the duck thing, the duck hunt thing, we actually strip off all gear, but regardless of that, you actually have to remove your main hand weapon. You cannot have a main hand weapon and actually use those abilities. Even if you put them on your bar, they are grayed out. You cannot use them. Once in a while, I would actually I would equip a weapon temporarily to like open like a conquest box or something, and then I would try to, and if I forgot to unequip it, then I would have basically no fight, nothing to fight with. And I have to run away from the next fight until I could unequip my main hand weapon. It taught me taught me for sure you cannot have a main hand weapon and punch. Also, all the punching and stuff. If you end up doing this ever for some reason, don't worry about accuracy, because there's no such thing as that. You cannot miss with a punch. Like, there's no missing, there's no dodging. I don't know why, but you never miss with a punch. So it's oddly, you'll never have to worry about accuracy, really. I mean, unless but like I said, I was using other abilities that did not require a main hand weapon, so I could interrupt. What else? A force push. There's a few other abilities that actually don't require a main hand weapon, and those can miss. So, I mean, technically, yeah, I guess accuracy does help for that. But basically, yeah, accuracy is like basically no help as far as the punching goes, which was like 90 to 99% of the damage. But they can crit, so crit's actually a pretty good stat. I didn't bother trying with the whole alacrity thing. I didn't really see the point, so I just went with crit. So, yeah. Anyway.
Awesome.
All right. So Lone Wolf says he's going to do a punching character, but he's decided that he is not quite as psychotic as I am, and he will have his companion healing. So that's good. Yeah, you can actually there's a different way. There's like different levels and stuff like you can do. Like I tried unequipping the weapon on my companion. It turns out they can then only use a couple of their healing abilities. Like all the other abilities are just grayed out and they can't use them. Kind of like you, which is interesting. So I thought the idea for me was, well, if I unequip their main hand weapon, maybe I can have them heal but not do any damage. But then they do damage anyway. So unequipping their weapon doesn't actually help with that. So yeah, there's another thing for you. Your companion can actually do damage. As long as they're active, they'll do damage even if you unequip their weapon. They will do something. Yeah. So anyway, if you have a tip of the week, send it to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show, and it'll give you a chance to win a TomFon or M83R droid pet code, or the newer M2B9 droid code courtesy of BioWare, and an OotiniCast provided ultimate pack. And that will bring us to the Mind Trap. And the Mind Trap was sort of a follow-up to the other one, because we're following up on the whole Galactic Seasons idea. And Jolia, have you been doing much of the Galactic Seasons? Like, whereabouts are you on that one? That was actually the Mind Trap last week. It was like, how far through it are you?
I think I'm about halfway through. I haven't had a lot of time to kind of get on top of it. I had some real life stuff going on right when it dropped, and I'm still playing a little bit of catch up there, but I forget how many levels there are total, but I was scrolling through and I think I'm about halfway. Nice.
Yeah, well, there's 100 levels, and we're a little bit past the first month, and each month you should get about 20 levels done. So if you're even in like the 20s, you're probably actually okay, but it sounds like you're almost to the 50s, so you're actually ahead of the game if you're there.
Yeah, I'm probably closer to a third then. I think I was in the 40s, maybe?
Yeah, you're still doing fine then, and you're well ahead of me. I'm 26, something like that. Not too far along.
Mode rating, yay.
Yeah, for the win, for sure.
Starfighter, shout out to Starfighter for being super relevant again.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's made me want to get back into it, although I have not yet. So I'm going to dip my toe in, but I have not yet for sure. So we kind of the last mind trap we had was actually how far have people gotten through the seasons. This time we asked, have you bought any Galactic Seasons levels? And so the options were yes with credits, yes with cartel coins, yes with both, or no, I haven't. And we had 481 votes, and, well, no had the most votes with almost 70%, 69.6%, so call it 70%. So that means about 30% of people have actually already bought some levels of Galactic Seasons with credits or cartel coins or both. So cartel coins was actually the most popular, about 2/3 of it. And then it was kind of almost a split between the others. A few did credits, and a few did a little of each. Have you bought any levels, or Jolia?
Yeah, I think I did in the first couple weeks where I didn't get any objectives completed, and I think I did the catch up. I forget, what is it? It doubles every time you buy a level or something.
Something like that. It's sort of this weird exponential thing. So Teresa actually did a pretty good write-up on it, and there's like a whole list of exactly what each level costs. I think it basically multiplies by 1.5, but it's not exactly that because it's adding on to the last one. It's a little hard to describe, but basically, yeah, it just explodes very fast. Like the first few levels are pretty reasonable, but if you're going to buy more than just a couple 3, it gets really expensive.
Yeah, I got a few, I think, on Satil Shan, but I admit I've been spending more on the credit side on the servers where I don't play nearly as much, but I still want the goodies. So,
right.
I guess I'd fit into a little bit of both category.
Right. Yeah, and Arjar says I'm only on level 17 on Satil Shan for the Galactic Seasons. Today it says I can catch up for level 18 and 19. Yeah, so with the cartel coins, you can pretty much buy however much you want, whenever you want. Not too surprising, I suppose. But if you're doing the credits, it's like as the season goes on, the sort of like maximum level you can buy all the way up to just sort of marches along slowly. And it's going to stop actually at level 95. You won't be able to, with credits, you won't be able to go past 95, apparently. And that's going to be a ways off, obviously. But yeah, so that makes sense that we're, level 18, level 19, somewhere like that. Absolutely makes sense. Dek, have you been buying any Galactic Seasons?
I think I spent about 5 million to catch up, but I haven't bought any cartel coins or any with cartel coins.
Right.
It's the whole event's just not exciting me. It's
just
kind of reminds me of DVL a little bit.
Okay. Oh, dark and light side. Yeah.
Right. They're just trying to force you to play parts of the game that don't get as much play time as others. For example, the Galactic Starfighter. So I've, my entire Galactic Seasons leveling is usually done with ops. Whatever the weekly.
Fair enough. Is. Are there any of the rewards that you actually are looking forward to or working towards, or do none of them really appeal? Or
Chill. I've said this before. I can get the currency and I can buy from the vendor.
Right.
Except I own everything except for
yeah,
maybe like the Stronghold. That there's that they're just kind of reruns, and if you've been a subscriber for as long as I have, you already have it all. So there's not really a motivation.
That's true. I looked at the vendor and I think there was one oddball thing that I didn't already have. I'm not sure even why, but yeah, for me it's kind of like that too.
I've been sub pretty much since 2013, but by luck I missed a couple of months just changing a debit card or whatever it was when I wasn't as active. And every time I would miss would be when a new pet or a new map would drop. So it's actually really nice because I can go back now and pretend like I didn't be irresponsible with my subscription and get the Tonfon or whatever it is I was missing. But that Stronghold though, that's what I'm after.
Right.
And even the Stronghold, do I have to pay a smuggling fee for my pub tunes to enter my imp side Stronghold, or vice versa? So it's not like a Nar Shaddaa where it could be just a unified place to have everybody hang out.
Right.
I'm going to have to spend money to have them hang out.
Right. Yeah, it's. I think it's a very cool stronghold, but yeah, it's not going to change me from my Nar Shaddaa sort of main one where I just have everything right by the entrance. It's just crammed there. Mailbox.
If it could be a larger percentage for
GTN,
Conquest, that would change my mind. I would definitely want to buy it, buy both of them. But it feels like we hit our 15% for having the strongholds, and it's just going to stay there no matter how many more strongholds they release.
Right. And Kitty, have you bought any Galactic Seasons levels?
Yes, I think I bought 2 with the cartel coins.
Okay.
That was back when I wasn't sure where we're supposed to be in the cartel season. Like, I'm like, I don't understand where we are. Are we halfway? Are we a quarter of the way?
Right.
And I was like, I don't want to get caught behind. And so I clicked the button. And I also wanted to kind of do a little bit of testing for my own edification, to see, okay, it's 100, always 100 to go to the next level.
Right. Pro tip, buy them one at a time and it's less.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels less.
So, yeah, I did it a couple times, but other than that, no, I've just been doing the dailies. But I am amazed that No took it at such a high percentage.
Okay.
I just think I would have thought that, with both, or yes, I just did not see people not, spending cartel coins or credits on it. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's true that, the credits one has only been out a little while, so the cartel coin has had a little bit more of a chance, like if you're doing it right when the Galactic season starts, then cartel coins was the only way to go at that point. So credits might catch up a little bit later, I suppose. It's possible. I have not purchased any yet. Let's see. We had some interesting answers. So Arista said, no, but I expect I will closer to the end of the season. I'm waiting to see how far I get naturally, and I'm trying to be patient and to play my way to victory on my home server. And that was
We should do this again at the end of the seasons. Ask this same mind trap, but at the end.
Yeah.
To see what people do.
Right. And yeah, and there's definitely, there's some people who are not as interested, no, not sure if I even care about leveling it up. There's nothing in the ranks I want. Another person said, nope, but I gave up on this season. Hopefully they'll improve it for next time. But my sanity couldn't take any more Galactic Starfighter or slaughtering Kilix every day. If I had the credits, I'd likely buy the remaining levels. So... yeah, so, a little bit of everything, which is fine. And then we did do a follow-up poll. Usually we just do the one, but because I was curious, like, for the people who said no, was that like a hard no, or was that like a wait-and-see no? So the second poll was, if you've not bought any Galactic Seasons levels, are you likely to before the end of the season in about 4 months? And we got 92 votes on this. Not bad for a secondary poll. And... about the same, kind of like the yes versus no for the last one. No is 70%, 69.6%, and then yes was 34.4%. So for most of people, if they haven't bought them already, they probably aren't. But there's a significant minority of folks who are potentially going to towards the end of the season. And I'm with the yes actually on this one. I have not bought any yet. However, like if we get towards the end of the season and for whatever reason I'm just still behind and there's still stuff I want that I haven't gotten yet, or if I just feel like trying to make sure I get to the end of the season to level 100, then I probably will, to be honest. But I too kind of like Swordorisa. I kind of want to see like how far I get sort of semi-naturally. I'm not exactly, because I have gone a little bit out of my way to get a few of the dailies done that, that I might not have otherwise done. I've killed a few Kilix and, whatever, defeated enemies in certain part of the galaxy and stuff like that, done a few dailies, when that comes up, that sort of thing. It's usually just the daily one. I'm not usually like going hard in the paint for the weeklies or anything like that. But I think towards the end of the season, there's a reasonable chance that I would buy some one way or the other. Hopefully just with credits, but I mean, I guess I would consider cartel coins as well.
So it's like cramming for a final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wait till the end. Well,
I gotta stay up all night and finish the season.
Yeah, near the end, I'm expecting there to be an absolute craze for whatever the story mode ops are at that point. Whether it's TC, I mean, I think we're just going to have nothing but TC for 2 weeks leading up to the end.
Right. So whatever shows up is just gonna be super popular. Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's what's gonna happen too. And all right, then let's go to the holo feed. The first, so this is all the news, and we have the events for June. Note that just after the last show, we had the bounty contract week, so that's already done. But there are several things coming later in June, and in fact, Dek mentioned one earlier. But before that, the All World's Ultimate Swoop Rally, June 15th to June 22nd. So this one is active as of today. And let's see. So this is the Swoop Rally that's, they started this not very long ago. This is one of the newest events in the game. And so a lot of people have not, capped out, reputations and stuff like that. There's Swoop Gang outfits, there's mini pets, decos, all mounts, all the sort of things you might expect from an event. That one is going on now, going on for the next week. After that, a little bit of time, and then June 29th to July 6th is going to be the Rat Ghoul Resurgence on Tatooine. And usually we go after the big Rat Ghoul boss with Jar Jar Joyride. Is that going to happen again, Dek? When Tatooine comes around?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
The Eyeless.
The Eyeless. I love it. Yeah, that's actually a really fun fight to tank, which is usually what I do in that one. It's a lot of fun to bounce the boss back and forth. Good stuff. All right, so that's pretty much the same in terms of what's available. Also, if Dr. Loken becomes available again to return as an Alliance contact, it's pretty much the only time you can get him back. And yeah, after that though,
I finally got Dr. Loken back.
Hey, nice.
Good job.
Finally, after this is the first time I ever got Dr. Loken back, and I love Dr. Loken. I love it when he changes into a rat ghoul when he attacks and stuff.
Yeah,
but it was
cool.
Pretty fun. It felt like I was participating in something new in the game, even though my procrastination took years to get it done. It's really fun. It's not that difficult. When you participate in Rat Ghoul for the last however many years. You'll have the stuff you need already.
Right, pretty much, yeah. All right, there's going to be a double XP event. This one's going to go for roughly 2 weeks, June 29th through July 13th. So that one is always fun. It's as they normally do it, double XP, double Valor, double Renown. So that's always a good time. Like I'm always doing leveling and stuff anyway. That's just kind of like my relaxation activity is just making a new character and leveling them. That's kind of my fun thing to do. So double XP is fine for me, or I can take it or leave it actually. But I know that, for a lot of people, that's not what they want. They actually want to be able to level really quickly. This is the time to do it. So June 29th through July 13th, that is coming up. Also, starting on June 29th, Nar Shaddaa Nightlife. Now, of course, this is also Meksha nowadays as well, but the Nightlife event is coming back. That one's a little longer. It's June 29th, but that's through August 10th, and this is pretty typical. In years past, it's usually around the same sort of length of time, so that's like, what is that, a month and a half almost? No requirements. You don't have to be any level or anything. You just get to Nar Shaddaa. I guess you have to be able to get to Nar Shaddaa, but you get to Nar Shaddaa, and we'll see what's
credits.
Yeah, bring your credits.
Bring your credits.
Bring your credits.
And pick a good podcast. Maybe listen to some OotiniCast and sit there and plug them.
Yeah, we'll have to see. If they have what new things they have. They've usually added like some new mount or some new companion. I'm not seeing a whole lot here on the list that looks completely new. So maybe this year they're just bringing it back and not bringing any new stuff, which would be unfortunate, but I suppose I could understand. Anyway, the Kingpin and Nightlife Socialite armor sets. And by the way, the Kingpin armor set has some cool stuff. The Kingpin's weapons are excellent. Like some of the coolest in the game are actually the Kingpin's weapons. I mean, if you want like a Tommy gun look, they actually have a Tommy gun, like with the round, magazine and everything. It is awesome.
Drum mag.
It's
the Han Solo's pistol as well.
The pistol is very Han Solo-esque. It's very, very nice. I've used it before for stuff like for that sort of look exactly. So nice.
Those are available year round from the vendor.
Yes, if you've played it before, you can actually get it anytime. But if you need more of the tokens, well, this is when you can get it. The Frojo Nure and Gamorrean Bodyguard companions. So there's 2 different companions you can get. The Gamorrean was the one they added first, and then they added the Rhodian Frojo Nure more recently. Vectron Magnus and Kingpin's Rancor mounts. Kingpin Rancor mount is still awesome. Kingpin's Predator mount, taxidermy stronghold decorations. Actually, the some of the decos from the Nightlife event are really fun. Like it has those the interactive like dance floor and microphone stuff like that. Those are actually really pretty clever.
The stage too. There's
the stage. Yep. Taxidermy decos, and then cartel market certificates.
Yes.
It is now like on your actual like inventory bar. They no longer take up space in your inventory. Yes. They just go right into your into that tab. Cartel market certificates. It's like you forget about them, but there are some really cool things you can buy from those vendors on the fleet. Yes. The cartel market certificates has some really some like red dyes that are kind of hard to get otherwise, some black dyes that are hard to get otherwise. There's a lot of armor sets, a lot of mounts, a lot of pets, tons of stuff.
Prior to last summer, those cartel market certificates were really hard to get because they would only drop from a pack.
Yeah.
And then I think they pretty much stopped dropping from packs or turned very rare. And so, trying to get your stash back was difficult. But then last year, it seemed like they rained from those slot machines.
They rained.
They come hard and fast, yeah. And of course, we're also getting a few as like daily login rewards, so you're getting a few anyway. Right. But if you haven't checked out those vendors in a while, like definitely go check them out. There's like 8 of them. There's like a bunch of them, and just lots and lots of stuff there. Even some really like some really unusual stuff, like some of the like the lounging mounts, like the hut lounging barge. I can't remember exactly what it's called.
Hat.
Yeah, the Nihilus hat. Some really nice stuff.
The cartel coins are the reason that I do the Nightlife event.
Or the cartel certificates, you mean?
The cartel certificates. Because getting the black dyes, you can get, it's a primary black and nothing, or a nothing and secondary black. Those are fantastic on stuff. And once you get, I finally got my reputation to max on that, so I can get all the stuff. And there's, like Chill was saying, there is some great things on there that are really, really, really fun. Yeah.
I think I'm trying to remember some of the last things. I think there was a character I had, and it's like I wanted a particular mount, and they actually had it on the vendor. I'm trying to remember which one it was, though. I think it was the Macron mount. Might have been it. I think I got it from that vendor. I can't remember though. I don't want to say that one for sure because I can't remember 100%. But anyway, there's lots of cool stuff. So
lots. Of stuff.
And actually going to the slots and actually just banging the coins in for a while. It's actually kind of relaxing. But so it's actually one of the few events where I'll just go and do the event for like quite a while.
Yeah.
I hope they've fixed all the slot machines. They seemed very bugged last year.
Yeah.
There were some weird bugs. Yeah, there were some weird bugs. There's some of the new missions last year, which was sort of interesting.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they added a couple more new ones. The original one is still there where you, like, try to suss out, like, who's the cheater.
Right.
And you turn them into the huts, which is doing them no great favors, I'm sure.
Yeah, wasn't it there's 3 different slots, for lack of a better word, and it's the biggest one you can do
Right.
with like the giant hut there that
Yes.
was bugged for
Sometimes.
the
Yeah.
first week
Yeah.
Well,
that it
it was bugged, but that was if you had a chance to actually pull the handle, since you had to stand in line for half an hour.
That
Ooh.
too, yeah.
there are
Guess it wasn't
more
resetting
than
or something.
2 of those. There's some upstairs, don't forget.
Oh yeah, and there's
Yeah. I remember
I'd
though,
go to
they,
that
yeah,
one and
they were
there'd be
like,
no
it was
one
like
there.
not resetting or something, so that people like were having to wait or something like that. I can't remember the exact bug,
Well,
but it
like-
was something like that.
they put 4 in for all the players.
Yeah,
on your
that's
server. And
ridiculous.
there was just a line. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what? The line, good job, gamers.
Yeah.
Very
Right.
good job. I was so
was
proud
so
to see people in
orderly.
line. I was like, yes.
It's like single file. It was crazy.
It was great.
Yep. All right. There was a Galactic Seasons check-in from the devs, and we've kind of mentioned it a few of these, but they wrote we've seen a lot of questions regarding Galactic Seasons tokens and if they will or will not expire at the end of the season. We do not intend to reset these tokens at the end of any season. Galactic Season tokens are meant to be collected and shared from season to season. They are a permanent currency for any and all Galactic Seasons now and in the foreseeable future. And that makes sense, because they did say, like, for example, like, you cannot get both of the strongholds from from this first season, which means you kind of have to hold on to some and get some next time. But maybe it wasn't absolutely clear. So it's good that they spelled that out. Priority objectives. There's been a lot of bugs, so they talk about that a little bit, and that's still kind of ongoing. There's still been some, like in the section, I think like section X, even though it's on Belsavis, it doesn't count towards Belsavis opponents if you have that one. So there's some weird bugs in the game that they're still working on, trying to get everything matched up to like what will actually advance missions and stuff like that. Let's see. While Galactic Seasons will never have the same level of variety as the Conquest system, it is our intention to add more variety into later seasons, which we believe should address both the desire for more variety as well as more refreshes. When we looked at Season 1, we considered a few key elements. Activity patterns we saw in players' week-to-week Conquest participation, where there was opportunity to increase engagement, ensuring that daily and weekly priority objectives fell into a certain time to complete range, and ensuring that no matter which objective you had, it was relevant to what you were able to actually participate in. By keeping this initial list of priority objectives a little more trimmed down and focused, we can ensure that players met all these key elements. As we move into future seasons, we'll be building further upon this foundation. So in other words, they were being a little conservative with like what they were actually adding, so that to make sure that it was gonna like just that you weren't gonna get activities that you just had like no way to complete, I guess is the idea. Although, I mean, if with operations, that you got to have at least like a level 50 character, and you know, there are blocks there. Let's see.
70.
Oh, 70. That's right. It's 70 nowadays, isn't it? I keep forgetting they made that change for some reason. But yes, thank you, 70. It's actually a lot higher than.
It's a lot higher, yeah.
Yeah. The Galactic Seasons vendor, however you pronounce that, Jalit Nal, I'm just going to pronounce it that way, is intended to be a rotating vendor similar to Kaizyken, but with a longer rotating cadence. We've seen the feedback that players had saved up for a specific item on her inventory, which then became unavailable without notice. To help make this more predictable, we'll be simplifying and unifying the rotating cadence with Game Update 6.3.1, such as all rotations will occur once every week at 12 a.m. GMT. This will line up more appropriately with Kai's current rotation cadence, and we hope it will make her inventory more predictable. And then it has a list. It doesn't make sense for me to read every last one. It is in the show notes, but there's going to be Group A, B, C, and D, and then they're going to just rotate between them. And basically, they sort of have like some of the same, like, you know, like there's a title in the first one, there's a title in the second one, there's a title in the third one, and there's a title in the fourth one. Similarly, there's armor in the first one, you know, there's jetpack in the first one, you know, there's a different mount in the second one, and so forth. So there's a little bit of everything, and it's all split up. So if you
That's great.
Yeah. So if you need Nico Okar, you can now, like, if you look at the vendor and you say, oh, okay, Nico's not on this one, well, who's showing up? And then you could look at the list and figure out, okay, well, that means Nico's going to be back in 1, 2, or 3 weeks. So that's how that's going to work. State of priority objectives. We understand and acknowledge there were initial issues with priority objectives, and there still are in the bugs in the game, although they got rid of some of them, a good amount of them actually, and would like to give some insight into where these issues occurred. Priority objectives not tracking. So that was something that they kind of did fix for the most part. Instances where players had priority objectives which were tracking and then suddenly stopped tracking wasn't a result of error in the schedule between Galactic Seasons weekly and the Conquest schedule. In this case, the Galactic Seasons schedule switched over the next week, indicating that new priority objectives were available prior to the Conquest schedule switching over. Because priority objectives are built using the same tech as our Conquest objectives, if a player happened to log in during this window of time, there's a potential to obtain new priority objectives as the system intended. However, when the Conquest schedule flipped over 12 hours later, the newly acquired priority objectives of those players had then become invalid, thus preventing them from further tracking and advancing. We've brought these two schedules back in line with each other as intended and made additional development and internal testing improvements to prevent this in the future. And I want to jump down actually a little bit. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see. There is a bug that they wrote about. There's a bug that sometimes happens if you're logged into a low-level character when the weekly reset happens. To prevent that, you need to make sure that you're not logged into a character below level 10 during the reset. They're looking into this particular bug. And then hopefully you'll be able to get a correct priority objective by re-rolling on a high-level character. So there's some sort of weird bug where if you're not, because it's using some of the same tech as Conquest, if you happen to be on a character who's not available for Conquest, i.e. below level 10, then that can kind of make things a little bugged out in terms of if that happens when the weekly reset happens. So there's some stuff still going on. Obviously, it's getting better, but yeah, there's still some bugs that they're working on. And let's see, have you guys run into any sort of major season bugs? I've had a couple of like minor ones where early on where things aren't tracking, although it hasn't happened to me recently.
The only one that I've ever come across is it says to do the dailies on Section X, but then it says in the description 0 of 4 done on Rishi dailies. So it says to go
right two different places.
And I tried the dailies on Section X, it didn't track.
Right.
And then I tried them on Rishi and they didn't track. So
okay.
And that was after a re-roll, so I was stuck with it.
Yeah, that does seem, I've seen messages about that one. That seems to be just unfortunately one in the game unfortunately right now.
Yeah.
Julia?
I haven't had too much in the way of issues. I think I had something similar where, there was a planet that I was supposed to do kills on, and then it wasn't tracking either. So I suspect it was a similar kind of bug, but nothing spectacular, which I am happy for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's one that I don't think it's exactly a bug, but you have to be very careful about it, and that's where it'll show like 3 different options, but if you read it really carefully, like only one of the options is actually active. It's like up above it'll say it'll have kind of like this very eye-grabbing thing where it says like 0 of 3, heroics on blah blah blah, 0 of 3 heroics on blah blah blah, 0 of 3 heroics on blah blah blah. But if you look up above it, it'll say, do heroics on, and it's only one of the 3. So if you don't really notice that, you might think, oh, okay, I can do the heroics wherever on these 3 planets. And it turns out that's actually not true. So if you happen to see that one, double check and make sure that's not actually pointing you towards one of the 3, even though for some reason it seems like it's pointing you towards any of the 3, but it's not. It's actually pointing you towards one of the 3. That one I find a little bothersome, but just because it's the way it's written.
Read the fine print.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so they and then they say we're examining all the issues we had with priority objectives in season 1 and are applying that knowledge moving forward. We're seeing where there are additional opportunities to separate out some of these systems and ways to simplify. And we want to thank you for your continued feedback. We're very actively gathering and using it to refine what season 2 may look and feel like. So there you go. There was also a sort of follow-up question. Jackie Coe put this up on. So someone had their subscription expire. They plan on resubscribing it, but not quite yet after a few weeks. And the person writes, I've been working through Galactic Seasons and overall kind of enjoy it. But I noticed as it's progressing that my subscription has ended. The subscriber rewards are being auto-set to claimed, even though I haven't and cannot claim them. The FTP rewards remain unclaimed until I click on the button. I'm also not receiving any of these auto-claimed rewards, and I don't think I should be. My understanding is the news article they posted was that I won't be able to claim those rewards while unsubscribed. When I do resubscribe, I will be able to claim the rewards for the levels I've completed, but it makes it look like it's not the case. I'm thinking my best option right now is to stop, since I stopped playing the game, so I don't want to lose out on some of these other subscribers' rewards, and I get Galactic Season points just for logging in. I'd rather not. So does anyone know, is this how it's supposed to work? And these auto-claimed subscriber rewards, will they switch back to unclaimed when I resubscribe? Or is this a bug that has already cheated me out of a couple of rewards and would continue to do if I keep logging in? And Jackie wrote, Hi, Psiki, this you won't lose those sub rewards as they are not truly claimed. Once you are a sub again, you will be able to claim them. And then I'll be moving this forward thread over to the bug reports. So apparently, like, it's, I guess you could consider it a bug, or at least it's a very awkward way to show, that you are not able to claim these, because they show as claimed, even though it just means you're not currently subscribed and therefore cannot claim them. But apparently if you resubscribe, according to what Jackie is saying, that you will then be able to claim them again. So yeah, a little awkward, but yeah. So I don't know about be careful about that, but at least be aware of that. Let's see. And we've already gone over that. SWTOR pointed this out on Twitter, which is kind of cool. Gary McKay, he was formerly the interim general manager of BioWare. He has been confirmed as the permanent general manager of BioWare. Gary joined BioWare in January of 2020 as head of development operations before being tapped to be interim GM in December. He brings with him more than 20 years of industry experience. I started my career with the industry in EA back in 1998. It was exciting to see the studio and company grow in the early days. I spent the next 7 years with EA before moving on. Now you could say I've come full circle. And after a few other things, it was interesting that he said, we're laser focused on releasing the type of games that BioWare has built a reputation on. High-quality console, PC, and online RPG games with rich stories, unforgettable characters, and vast worlds. We continue to work on the next Dragon Age and Mass Effect, and this is a milestone year, being the 10th anniversary, with more to come from Star Wars The Old Republic. So very cool. So when the new GM of EA came in, he actually specifically mentioned the Star Wars The Old Republic 10-year anniversary. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah, so yeah, it's always good to know that the upper people, are aware.
Right.
Exactly.
We're thriving.
You always have to be worried, It's like if you're a 10-year-old game in an industry that loves to have, like the big opening day for a brand new game and loves to push that. It's nice to know that they're okay with games having like long tails and players that have stuck with it for a long time and are still subscribed and still put money into the game, still put time into the game, and so on. So I'm very excited to have that. So congratulations to Gary McKay. And let's see, one other congratulations. This is for Tara Strong. Tara Strong is a voice actor. She voiced Risha Drayan, companion for the on the smuggler side, and Holiday. Yay! Yeah.
I love Holiday.
Which is Theron Cedric's companion, but Theron is your companion, and on on the Jedi side. Can't remember which one, actually, off the top of my head, because they use the same ship, and I always remember the companions by where they are in the ship. So I always get the two Sith companions mixed up, and I get the two Jedi companions mixed up. Anyway,
now
so
I'm gonna get it mixed up.
So-
I never thought of that, but I totally makes sense.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
anyway,
totally
Tara
do.
Strong voiced both of them, and she has now voiced the character Miss Minutes in the first episode of Loki. So if you've got Disney Plus for Star Wars and Bad Batch and all that sort of thing, well, you might also be watching Loki. And when you do watch the first episode, there's an animated character called Miss Minutes, and that's voiced by Tara Strong. So congratulations to Tara Strong for that.
Cool.
So.
That is
And
awesome.
yeah, she's been around. She's been voice acting a long time. She does some acting as well, on camera acting. But she's done tons of voice acting forever. She was the voice of Timmy Turner from Fairly Odd Parents back in the day, for instance. So she's awesome. So congratulations to her. And yeah, so that was really fun to see because I recognized her name in the credits, like Tara Strong. She was in SWTOR, right? And I looked up, yeah. Risha. So yeah, that was awesome. All right, let's see. Yes, Anu. I think Bubbles and Powerpuff Girls. I think that's right too. I was never a Powerpuff Girls. I never really watched the show, but I have seen her on like lists of her IMDb and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure you're right about that. Yeah. So she's been in the voice acting biz a long time, and she's done some kick-ass stuff. All right, so let's go to the force feedback. Read over some tweets and emails. We did go over this in 414, the last episode. We're going to mention it again because it is coming up this weekend. The Duck Hunt is coming up. And again, we'll just briefly mention solstice event on the planet Ilum. For those who have participated or heard about it before, it's pretty standard. It'll start at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, June 19th. You'll be looking for Magnum, and this is again on Ilum. We don't know exactly where, but
Nope.
Yep.
Ilum's big too.
Once everyone's found them, then we'll set up for the Utini 500 race on Ilum. Participants are broken up into speeder rank classes. Once the race is over, if there's enough time, then we'll transition to a bare knuckles brawling event in his Rishi stronghold. Prizes will be given out, and no one goes up empty-handed. So if you don't take a prize in any of the events, you'll still get a prize at the end, which is awesome. And as long as there's all kinds of stuff too. In fact, he added a little bit of additional info. I added a bunch of stuff for the prize table onto the events page. This is so if you're in the guild, you've joined the Utini website, and there's an events page. And he says it is not a mistake that the augment kit MK11 stacks are in there twice. I have 2 stacks up. So
Nice.
yeah, and those are expensive,
lucky.
and you can get like a whole stack of them, and it's like crazy. And he's always got other good stuff too. There's always like really good mounts and pets and armor sets and weapons and all kinds of cool stuff. Toys. I got the SOA toy, like the one that zaps you with like the mind.
Right.
The mind trap thing. That was awesome. So yeah, so he's always got a lot of great stuff. He does a great job. So thank you, Ducky, and we're looking forward to that. This is OotiniGuilds.com. The event is open for everyone on the Satil Shan server, however, so let us know in-game if you're participating. Go see join/Utini, and that's also how you join the guild, but you don't have to join the guild. In this case, you just join the channel at that time, and that'll at least let you communicate with them.
Yeah, once you join that channel, we'll get you into for a temporary pass to our Discord.
Yeah. And we also have a message from Lord Meltza, who's in chat, or at least, yep, there he is, in chat. Someone posted SWTOR beta screenshots on the SWTOR Reddit, and I thought it'd be nice to share on the OotiniCast. So I put a link to it in the show notes. Actually, I went to the Reddit and then put a link to the actual thing. It's for imgur.com. It's one of those sort of pages. It was great to see the old beta. It looks so different from how it does now. It even has a couple of pictures with where it says that it just says texture basically on it, where it hasn't actually been added to the game.
That.
Yeah.
I forgot it. It just said texture.
It just says something. Yeah, it might not even be the word texture, but it's that idea where there's no texture in it yet. It just,
or there'd be like a question
mark. That's a placeholder.
Mark.
Yeah. Or the question mark. Yeah. And there's it's like super basic. Like, it looks very stripped down. Yeah, it was great. It was great to see, back in the day. So thank you, Melissa, for sending that in. It'll be in the show notes. And do you guys have anything else?
Yeah, Chill, I do want to kind of give a pre-shout out for this weekend's events for Ducky.
You bet.
Because, he's going through all that work. And tomorrow's his birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Ducky.
That on the calendar.
That's great.
He'll be like, what, 80?
Something like that, I think.
85?
Yeah, you make fun, but I think we're all pretty much the same age.
I know. As soon as I said that, I'm like, I'm going to be 80 in like 30 years. So.
Ducky's now having fun in chat. All right. And Jolia, is there anything else you wanted to say about Diversity Fleet or the SWTOR community?
No, I think we covered just about everything. But like I say, everyone's welcome. And if you're ever interested in joining either Discord, you don't have to be a member either of the guild in my guild's case or of a coalition guild for the coalition Discord. And yeah, it's been awesome chatting with you guys today, so thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being on. And if someone wants to contact you, like, are you like a Twitter user, or what social media do you use, and where should people get a hold of you?
For Diversity Fleet, it's just diversityfleet.com, and for the coalition, it's SWTORCoalition.com. And in both cases, there should be some sort of a contact us. I think for the coalition, the easiest way is to join the Discord and then post in the little welcome verify channel, "Hi, I heard about you on OotiniCast," or whatever your situation might be. And then for the guild, it's pretty straightforward. Just join the Discord and click your server, and you should be good to go. Excellent.
So it seems like Discord very important as a tool for your coalition.
Yeah, and it's the easiest place to get the looking for group stuff up and going, though. I have to admit that I'm very inspired by the Ootini channels, and that seems like something that we might want to come up with something similar to in the future, because in-game stuff is really, really nice to have.
It is. It is nice to have. All right. Then
for the Ootini guilds out there, I will be posting the Discord invite to our Ootini chat channel.
All right. Thanks, Dek.
I had one thing. One last thing. I wanted to thank you, Chill, and Marcus for donating the gift codes for my birthday stream.
Oh,
sure. A lot of people got a lot of really, really, really great things.
That's awesome.
That was very, very kind of you. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Yeah, it seems like you were having fun on your whole 50th birthday weekend streams there.
It was so fun. And like I said, some of those, like, there were several 30-day subcodes. Mm-hmm. There was many 450 cartel coins, and you even kicked a 2400 cartel coin.
Yeah.
And people were stoked, and I just wanted to say thanks.
Oh, that's awesome.
You made my birthday wonderful. It was really, really fun to give that stuff away.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad. All right, then. That's the show. If you'd like to play with us in the Ootini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the SWTOR server, or in our
Ootini Rage
Guild on the Empire side, do a /cjoin Ootini to join the Ootini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room And thank you to Jolia from Diversity Fleet.
Thank you, Jolia.
Woo-hoo! All right, and we'll see you next show.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Okay, let me do a little raid before I stop the stream. Let's see. How do we... Where's this? Why... I love when I can't figure out how to do this. Hang on a sec. I got to figure out where is the... let's see. Gosh darn it. Hang on. I got to get to... There it is. There's the dashboard. Thank goodness. It was not showing up for me. And then manage the stream.
Marcus is on.
Is Marcus on? Well, we should do Marcus then. All right. Why is it not... Let's see.
I love you, crazy kids.
There we go. Here we go. We're gonna raid Marcus, and then we'll call that. Then I'll be stopping the stream at that point. So thank you for everyone for coming, and here we go.
Bye, everybody.
All right. So we've done the raid. So I'm gonna. Here we go. I'm stopping the stream. Stopping the record.